Good afternoon, everyone. Disney once again predicting global cooling, the beluga whale in tropical waters. This follows on top of Zootopia, where the lamb holding the newspaper with the headline, Record Cold in Tundra Town. Also Frozen by Disney. What are they trying to tell us? Quick shout out to Bobby for keeping the torch going with the Mini Ice Age thread on Politic. Been censored for the third time. I'm leaving the link here so you can jump over and check that out. This is one of their posts from today talking about Alice Springs with the massive hailstorm that turned the desert white. Finding Dory, the new 3D computer animated comedy adventure coming out from Disney in July. The beluga whale somehow ends up down in tropical waters. Nice close-up here. This movie poster with the close-up is coming out of Taiwan, whereas the US release movie poster is quite a bit different. You can hardly even tell that there's an Arctic whale inside the scene. This is the beluga whale. It's an Arctic and subarctic species. This is the range of the beluga whale. In the same movie, they also have manta rays. Compare the range of the manta ray to the beluga whale. And are they really talking about ocean currents moving? Back in February, the release of Zootopia, we have the sheep, which is wool, cold weather clothing, holding a newspaper. The headline reads, Record Cold in Tundra Town. It's a second message coming out this year alone from Disney about global cooling. Taking a look into the Tundra Town district here, if you will. Notice the different features. We can clearly see something out of Russia. We have an aqueduct or a bridge. St. Basil's Cathedral matches up with what you'll see from Russia. Take a look again. Look at the bridge at the top there. We find something in China, the Danhe Bridge. Matches up very closely with that. So if Disney's predicting where the cold will come, they're saying Russia and China so far as countries. Look into this schematic of Tundra Town as well. I'll draw your attention to the bottom right where it says Talbot's, I think. These are the buildings that match up similarly with that. Havana, Cuba, or New York in the Delmonico's restaurant. Jumping over to Frozen, which we all know was one of the most popular animated films of all time. This has to do with Norway and Denmark. So my question to you is, do you recognize any of the other buildings inside? So far Disney has given the countries of Norway, Denmark, China, Russia, possibly New York, or possibly Cuba as areas that are going to get extremely cold. Speaking of high strangeness, Politic, Bobby taking the reins on this one. He's been putting up again and again the Mini Ice Age thread that has been censored for the third time. A couple of the new posts today talking about how the predicted rise in the IPCC 1990 put it at 2.78 degrees per century, but really it's not even close to that. 1.01 possibly. They're so far off, they're 3 times off what their predictions were. We shouldn't listen to them anymore because they've been wrong since the very beginning of their predictions. Also on the thread today, Alice Springs receiving unbelievable hailstorm that turns the red desert white. Alice Springs directly in the middle of the very hottest, driest, desertish condition place in that continent. Yet these storms come rolling through today, leaving inches of hail across Alice Springs and the surrounding areas, vicious winds. And when you look at the climate data for Alice Springs, they only ever receive 43 days of rain throughout the entire year. Now, what are the possibilities of the La Nina collapsing, the prediction of global cooling and a mini ice age coming, cooling down the temperatures across the planet, and then this happens? Do you really think that's coincidence? Look here at really what the conditions were like. This is something straight out of what you would see in a Texas hailstorm or something like this. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Disney's starting to point out the countries that are going to be cooling. And I'm really curious in their next 3D animated feature what's going to come out that also talks about a cooling scenario on our planet.